Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Today, we tackle some Reverb quizzes, but just in case you don't know, Reverb does offer these quizzes. You can just type this into your search bar and then you'll find it. Or if that's too difficult, just go to the main page and scroll down here until you see recent articles. You can click on something, and then right here they subcategorize things. So let's start with number 1. Which classic guitar are you? This one doesn't appear to be working anymore. Darn, I was hoping I was going to be a Les Paul. Let's try this one. Naming guitarists by their guitar. Now, I'm pretty good when it comes to like the Gibson variations of things, but when it comes to other stuff, I'm not so good. Now this one, rest in peace, my man, Eddie Van Halen. I've actually been listening to a lot of Van Halen stuff recently whenever I shoot my B-roll. The Roth and Hagar years are so different, but yet they're both good in their own unique way. So here's something that kind of looks BC Rich-esque in my opinion. We'll just try this one. Hey, I was right. Jerry Garcia from the Grateful Dead. And it looks like it's nicknamed the Tiger. So it looks like this guitar was first used in Oakland in 1979. And it looks like it sold in 2002 for $850,000 to the cult owner. Man, that guy must have this crazy collection because he's the one that bought a whole bunch of stuff from the Pink Floyd auction. And it looks like he had more than one. So the one that we're looking at today is Rosebud. Looks like we maybe have some different controls on this one. Yeah, we've got some MIDI controls. And it had a hollowed out maple core. That's interesting. And it looks like there's another one with a lightning bolt on it. I wish they would actually add that on these quizzes. Maybe they did later on. Okay, looks like Chuck Berry to me. That's before even seeing the options. So I think we're going to have to go with that. Yes. He was pretty famous for using that 335. Even in the Back to the Future movie, they kind of pay tribute to that. Except for that wasn't actually a guitar that should have existed at that point in time. But Gibson just recently did a reissue of one of his guitars, the original 350T that he was using. I did buy one of those. If it ever shows up, we will get a review and demo. Next question here. Okay, well that's easy. Iommi. That was a custom guitar built for him by John Birch. You can check out my review of the custom shop recreation of those very expensive Monkey SGs to learn a little bit more about Iommi. Uh-oh. Alright, I know I've seen this one. It's one of the Beatles, but they really get you by giving them 3, so we can cross that guy off. That doesn't look like Lennon's neck. That looks like McCartney to me. Oh no, it is Lennon's neck! That would be the J160E. I always have a hard time remembering what the ones are called with the electronics, but they did do reissues of those in a really expensive collection. But all things considered, you can get a relatively affordable vintage one. Relatively. But I had no idea they actually made these things all the way into the 70s. These look so wrong on so many levels. It's got that 70s Gibson flair and charm to it, which isn't always a good thing, depending on who you are, but witch hat knobs on an acoustic, and yeah, that's a funny guitar. Learn something new. Alright, here we go, and uh-oh. I don't know much about vintage Fenders. This is the guy who uses those. I guess I'll go with this for the Jazzmaster. What? Elvis Costello? That's a name I've heard of, but not somebody I've ever really, did a lot of research on before. Huh, that song kind of reminds me of this one. Okay, moving on here. That's clearly Les Paul with his favorite model, the Les Paul recording. He's got a Bigsby on that one. However, you can actually tell just by the layout that it's late 70s. If you want to learn all about those, I made a really in-depth guide using the Les Paul Recording 2 reissue as a guide for that one. But just as a quick recap, most of them have the controls on the outside like this. But if you see one with a straight up and down like that, you can tell it's at least a 78 or 79. But yes, Les Paul, James Hetfield. That'd be funny. Okay, so now we've got a Telecaster of some sort. I think we can roll out Haggard. Richards is definitely known for that. I think we can rule out Petty as well, so it'd be between these two. I'm going to go Springsteen because this guy looks like he's got some spring in his step. Yep. Ah, man. This kind of looks like a girl to me. Vaughn and Clapton are definitely known for Strats, but she's mainly acoustic? I'm not sure who this is, so I'm going to go for that. An American blues singer, guitarist, songwriter, and activist. Can't say I've heard too much of her stuff even after looking it up. Oh, that's an easy one, Bob Marley. this is another one that I need to find. Because there's an Epiphone version, right? But that's not what I want. I want the true Gibson. And these were an early 2000s custom shop thing, and the prices just keep going all the way up. There's this one guy that likes to keep making tributes to them and selling them for high dollars. But to find one for sale that's in, decent shape, still has the display case and everything, that's a tough find, and they're very expensive when they do show up. But trust me, I'll find one of these one day because I think it's such a fascinating guitar. This one and Roxy, and thankfully I've done Roxy once before, so this is one I'll just continue to search for because it's just such an iconic guitar. Next question here. Looks like a Tisco, or however you pronounce it. I honestly don't know who any of these people are, but I still got it right. Looks like she's still fairly active in the music scene. Next question. Oh, that's Trigger. That's easy. Willie Nelson. There he is. I don't know. Have they ever recreated Trigger? It doesn't appear to be so. Maybe they did a reissue of his guitar, but not like Relic. That would be an interesting job for Martin. But then again, replicating that wear and tear would be tricky. But you can learn about his son's signature guitar in this video, the Lucas Nelson signature Les Paul Jr. Next question, number 13. Ooh, that's tricky. That's a nice looking SG though. SG custom triple pickups with nickel hardware on that like Inverness green color. Maybe it's a faded Pelham blue. Trucks is known for using SGs. I don't know who these two are. Lenny Kravitz. I'm going to go Ian on this one. Brittany Howard. I like how they're mixing things up, vintage and slightly more modern people. Yep, can't say I've heard of this artist. Oh, that's super easy. Tom Morello. Fender just reissued his Soul Power guitar. I think I talked about Arm the Homeless in that one as well, so you can check out some more information in that particular video for in-depth stuff. But since this is kind of a parts caster type thing, I don't see that one ever being reissued, but I love the little hippos on it. And our last one here. Ooh, looks like an Ibanez to me, like an Ibanez copy. Montgomery does the finger picking stuff. George Benson, that's really calling me for some reason. I'm going to go with it. That's correct. Jazz guitarist. So I'm missing 3. That's not too bad, just, off the cuff, not prepared for any of this. And for one more fun one today, let's check out the 10 extremely 80s guitars. I'm pretty good with 80s, but not necessarily outside of the Gibson brand, so let's see how we're doing. Okay, so this is the Fender Performer. I do have one of these. I think it's this exact color and in pretty clean shape, too. Not making any promises when I'll ever get around to that review. This looks like a Kramer or something, but unfortunately that doesn't help me. If I was going to call this something out of those, I would either go Pacer or Striker. I think it's Striker because striking with just one pickup, but you gotta pace yourself if you have to. But at the same time, it might be that. I don't know. Darn. That's the Randy Rhodes. We were just learning about those yesterday with the alien influence version of that guitar, the Roswell Rhodes. I thought this video was gonna super blow up, but unfortunately not many space fans out there. Oh, this is another easy one, Gibson US1. So Sonics is that cheap bolt-on neck guitar. I do have the prototype of that if you're interested in buying it. I don't think the Fender Shredcaster is something real, but the Showmaster is. I hope it's not something real. Nope. So what's kind of unique about the Gibson US1, we'll talk about it for a minute here, is basically it was cool to name things after aircraft, and they get that giant Gibson logo just like we had on that Studio Custom XBL. And it was birthed just slightly after that. A long time ago I had this blonde natural one. It was a garbage guitar, but it's because somebody left it in a really high humidity area. I'm sure the neck was completely bowed out on it. That's probably why I didn't like the guitar. But there were also these limited edition painted ones that I talked about in this episode where I can go more in depth on this particular model if you're interested. And if it seems like I have a video topic on almost every single Gibson guitar, hey, that's my end goal here. If you're ever curious if I've ever done a guitar, let's say Gibson Les Paul Studio, just type it into YouTube and end it Trogly. And then bam, you'll see everything that I've ever done with a Les Paul Studio. How about, have I ever done a Rickenbacker before? Instead of asking me in the comments, just type it in like this. You'll see every single Rickenbacker or anything that I've mentioned Rickenbacker in. And hey, if you're just curious what video you want to watch next, you're interested in Gibsons, it'll show you my most popular videos. So there you go. If you're bored, just type in Trogly and it'll suggest some good stuff for you. If you like my style of content, but if you made it this far in the video, of course you do. Okay, this thing, oh geez. I know nothing about Guild guitars, but if I know these Reverb quiz guys, it's gotta be one of these two. I'm gonna go with this one. Yep. Kind of reminds me of like the Fireman or Iceman. I forget which one it is. That's from Ibanez. That's BC Rich. Oh, but what is it actually called? Oh, it's Warlock. Yes, I've actually owned one of these before. Trogly, BC Rich. If you ever want to know what I've done with those guys, I had one of the real deal ones. But here was a 7-string custom shop. That was an interesting guitar. It had the Bernie Rico Jr. signature on the back. That's what the Blacklight Surprise is. But I actually had one of the Trace War Beasts, like the really cheap ones when I first started playing guitar because I wanted something with a Floyd on it. Not my favorite guitar, but it's a guitar nonetheless. Okay. Something by Charvel. Looks just like a Stratocaster with a single humbucker and a Kaler. If I had to describe it, that's exactly what I would describe it as. They got me. San Dimas. Can't say I'm going to remember that one, though. Oh, that. Why is this even in here? Gem. I had some people sad that I just sold that blue floral gem without actually reviewing it. If I get a gem, I want it to actually have the gem inlays, I guess, because I think they're kind of cool, and I like the exotic colors on that. The blue floral's beautiful, right? But it doesn't inspire me to want to review it. And this has to be the strangest Rickenbacker I've ever seen. As far as I'm aware, anyways, they don't ever give anything a name. It's always just numbers and letters. So it can't be a Bill Kelleher signature model. 230 GF. What is going on with that thing? I didn't realize Rickenbacker made such modern-looking guitars. I guess now that we're actually looking at it, it still has that Rickenbacker charm. At the same time, it looks like an old Guild or something. I think that's what it is. Somebody just sent me some consignment pieces. We're going to look at some guitars that we don't normally look at, and they'll be for sale. It reminds me of one of those. Is it Ovation? It might be. I think it's something similar, but not necessarily the breadwinner. That's what vibes this thing gives. Oh, I guess that's right. Ricks lacquer their fretboards, so if that's ebony, that looks great. Glenn Frey limited edition. I'd be interested in checking one of those out one day. And oh my goodness. Ibanez, Kramer, Jackson, Charvel. Man, I think we can get rid of Ibanez because at least Ibanez changed up their stuff. Jackson's usually got pointier too, though, didn't they? So I think it's between Kramer and Charvel, but they don't give us our headstock, so I'm going to go Charvel. Kramer. Oh well, how did I do? 7? 6. Wow, I thought I did better than that. All right, Troglodytes, thank you for tuning in today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.